The first thing I wanted to do when starting out this book is to define cheating, because I think most of us define cheating by the physical. For example, as soon as we hear that our significant other has been cheating, the first thing we think of is sexual. When cheating comes in so many different shapes and forms, it's so broad, the definition of cheating and what makes up cheating, that I really wanted to take the time to define what it really is and where it comes from. So I start out the first chapter, which is called Cheating. I started the first chapter with this young lady who's in a relationship, and so many times it works out like this. The relationships, and like I always say, relationships are like a book. It's poetry in the beginning, and then the rest of the chapters are drama, mystery, suspense, horror, comedy. I mean, it's full of everything. And so, just like in a normal relationship, this young lady, her relationship starts out the poetry, and the poetry lasts quite some time. But then over time, reality sets in, work, the stresses of life, all these different types of things sets into the relationship, and things become complacent. So she grows unhappy with the relationship, and there's another guy who makes his way around the office every now and again, and he flirts with her, and she begins to enjoy the flirting or what have you, and one thing leads to another, and they develop some sort of relationship. And the question is, when did the cheating begin? Is it when things became physical that the cheating began, or is it when they went on their first little date? Was it the flirting? When did the cheating begin? And as I define cheating in the first chapter, the cheating actually began before all of that, before the date, before the physical interaction, before any of that. The dating actually began, as I define in the book. The dating began, or cheating occurs when one looks and finds something outside of the relationship to fill a void in the relationship. And basically, for this, couple, or for her, the cheating actually began when she started looking forward to his visits, because he was occupying a place that her husband was not anymore. Her husband used to make her laugh, and that was the thing that made her fall in love with him. And here, this guy who would come around, he would make her laugh as well, because that became something that was missing in her relationship. When this other guy brought it around, it was something that filled that place. It occupied that void that had become in her relationship. So that's actually when the cheating began, when she was looking forward to it. And just to kind of go into that a little more, it's kind of like I don't know if I consider that cheating. But when you think about it, think about when you're taking a test. People don't cheat off another person's test when they have all of the answers. A relationship is just like a test, in the sense that we date to test it out to see if we're going into a relationship. We're in a relationship to test it out and see if we're compatible for engagement. And we test out the engagement to see if we're good for marriage. Now, when we're in dating, or say we're in a relationship, and there's something holding this relationship back from going to the next stage, that's when we place something in the relationship from outside of the relationship to keep going. Now, let's say that thing was sex. Since we're always talking about sex when it comes to cheating, let's say that thing was sex. The sex isn't good, there isn't enough, there isn't any in the relationship, but you want to stay in that relationship. So what you would do is you would go outside of the relationship, get the sex, and then you will be able to continue on in your relationship. You can tell when something is cheating when your relationship cannot survive without it. If the relationship cannot survive with you going outside of it to enjoy another's time, then you're cheating, because you're occupying that space in your relationship with something else that's not in the relationship. Now, in terms of the test, we were talking about the test you were taking. Now, let's say you have 3 questions on this test, and if you fail, if you miss one question, you get the answer wrong. Okay, you only are allowed to look at your test and in your mind for the answer. But since you don't have that answer, you look somewhere else, anywhere else. You can look on the back of your hand. You can look on another person's paper. Wherever you look, if it's anywhere outside of what was allowed, that's cheating. And it's the same thing in relationships. That's cheating. So it's very important that we, how we define cheating, because it doesn't just start from the physical all the time. It's not like 2 people just get together and they just hook up and have sex. This is the latter stage. This is the end result of a combination of things that have already happened. In this relationship with this young lady, it started with the laughter missing. That was the thing that made her fall in love with this guy, the laughing. But once he started being serious and work got serious and all these other things started happening, she found comfort in somebody else for that laughter. And that's really where it began. Now, there's a gray area to cheating, because different people see different things as cheating. If I were to go on a date with an ex-girlfriend or go out to lunch with an ex-girlfriend, one person may not see it as cheating while another person may. There's a gray area, but cheating is defined by the person to whom it affects. I can't define cheating for myself, because I can't just do what I want to do in a relationship. It's about 2 people. The person who I'm with may consider me going out with somebody for lunch cheating. I may not, but it doesn't matter what I feel, because it's affecting the person that I'm with, and I have to be thinking about that person. So there's a gray area. So from the very beginning of a relationship, we have to define the things that we stand for, the things that we're going to tolerate and what we're not going to tolerate, and what we see as cheating and what we don't. Those are things that we have to get out of the way from the very beginning. There is that gray area of what is and what it isn't, depending on the person. And then there's that black and white area where we know if you're sleeping with someone else, you're cheating. But by the time it even gets to the point where you're thinking about sleeping with someone else, there had already been so many indicators that have passed us by. Like they say, there's always a warning sign before destruction. There have been so many indicators that we just missed. And that's what this book is all about, is pointing out those indicators so that we never get to are heeding those warning signs so that we never reach the destruction. But in the end of this chapter, the final definition for cheating is whether it is physical, mental, spiritual, inward, external, in the relationship, or in the significant other. The reason why people cheat is simple. It is because something is missing. For the next video, we're going to get into why men cheat, and then following that, why women cheat. Stay tuned.